If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Well, hello, everyone. How in the world are you? I cannot believe it's Wednesday again. Is time flying for anybody else? Because I feel like I'm on a jet going to the moon. It's like so fast. And then there's days where I just want to pull my hair out because it's way too slow. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight. I am Christine McIver, the host of the Inspired Choices Radio Show. And tonight we are going to get into an interesting topic that can definitely kick your butt, and one that you may not even realize that you might get some new awarenesses on. So tonight we're going to be talking about the answer, the conclusion, and the solution. Two areas that don't seem weird and yet can really send us spinning. So last week on the radio show that I did, the topic that really wanted to be spoken to was copycatting is the greatest form of flattery. And wow, did that go into a lot of different directions. It was something that surprised me, massively contributed to changing things, and gave me a lot of awareness, as well as the people that were joining in the chat room, as to where it's coming from flattery and where it's coming from just plain old stealing, and what we can do with all of that. So check that out. It's definitely in the archives in the Inspired Choices Network. So tonight, before we get into the show, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a possibilities coach. A lot of people say, well, what the hell is that? Well, I'm a possibilities coach in that I know that things are possible. Not always simple, not always easy, as it would seem, but absolutely friggin' possible. I work with people both individually as in a personal level, as well as individually in their business, and as well as in groups, maybe in couples, and definitely in organizations. And I work with anyone who is desiring greater. That doesn't mean that you have to have a problem. That doesn't mean that you need to figure out what's wrong. It could be that you're just ready to take yourself, your business, your life, your money, anything that's not working, and take it to the next level. How many of us are looking for the problems to solve and not the things to expand into greater? It is possible for each and every one of us to have what we desire. It's a matter of really stepping into it, leaning into it when it's difficult, and choosing it. And that's what I love to do with individuals. When someone shows up, when I'm coaching someone one-on-one, and they're like, let's do this, I am so ready, and they step into it each and every week as we coach together, that is the thing that lights me up and turns me on. And it's the thing that says to me, you know what, Christine, you really are contributing to the world. So if that's something that would pop for you, please let me know. I love, love, love to hear from individuals that are desiring that. So I am a possibilities coach as well as an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, a BARD facilitator, a radio show host, as you know tonight, a producer, and the owner of this sexy network called the Inspired Choices Network. I work with people in different programs that I have. I have the Pleasure of Business that's going to be rolled out in a new platform within the next few days. I also have Divorce with Dignity, and I also have, working with my amazing colleague, Rhonda Burns, the Advanced Pleasuring Money that we're doing right now. We're having so much fun in that. I also do the classes, the BARD class and the foundation class with Access Consciousness, and I have a BARD class coming up June the 16th if you're looking for that amazing modality, and the foundation class, which is the second class really to take with Access Consciousness, and that is beginning June the 22nd through the 25th. If you'd like to know more about that, you can go to my website, inspiredchoices.ca, where you will learn a lot more about that. So tonight, the answer, the conclusion, the solution. Do any of these things ever have you by the throat? Do you operate from finding the answer, the conclusion, or the solution? What if there is a different possibility that can be way more fun and create a lot more ease? Have you ever desired that and then concluded there wasn't one? We are all so cute, right? Oh my gosh. So as we step into this, if you would love to come join us in the chat room, you just come on to the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com and click on the chat room and jump in there with us as well. You're welcome to call in to ask any questions, comments, anything that really is popping for you about this radio show. I love working with people live on the air. The 815-880-8255 in the U.S. and 613-800-8736 for Canada. Or you can Skype us at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. So, okay, so the conclusion. First of all, welcome everyone in the chat room. First of all, conclusion. So there's been a lot of talk about conclusion, and I wanted to go look up the online etymology. We talk about that, which is a dictionary that is prior to 1946. That it was the year that definitions were often definitions. Many of them were changed in the dictionary, and these are the original definitions. Now, of course, all words have energies, and when you get the original definition of a word, it's going to have the true energy. So I went to check out what it said about conclusion. Well, some of the things that we do know, deduction or conclusion reached by reasoning. So reasoning, which is in the brain, right? You're reasoning, you're looking for evidence, and any evidence would be something from the past. Also, they had in there, which I thought was really interesting, in the late 1400s, conclusion meant the end, the closing of a passage of a speech or writing. Now, I thought that was really interesting. So if you are someone that is looking for more and you're looking to change things in your life, but you're operating from conclusion, how much are you actually ending your awareness or your ability to receive additional awareness because you've just ended the search, basically. You've closed the doors, you've locked it all out, and you are completely in conclusion. Well, you know, when you are in a funky space in your life, in your business, you know, there's a lot of people, there's a hell of a lot of energy in the world right now that is having people be in a big funk, right? Not everybody, and it is changeable, but how many of us are operating from the conclusion? So you'll even hear the news where it will go that, therefore. When you hear somebody say therefore, you can be prepared for the conclusion that's coming forthwith, right? So they are doing all of the reasoning. So how many places and spaces are you reasoning where you're looking at, quote unquote, the evidence, and you're cutting out the magic and the possibility of something else that's desiring to come? Anybody? So many of us are doing that because we this reality is telling us you need to be reasonable. You need to look at what's true. You need to be real. That just doesn't match reality, right? And so it has us so move into the conclusion. Now, if you are in a really crazy space in anything, how many of us are seriously, or no, let's say, how many times a day are each of us looking for the answer? How many times a day? I would say that probably if we actually kept score, we're probably looking for the answer at least 30 to 50 times, somewhere in there. What is that? What is the answer actually giving us? What is the answer providing you? Is it providing you with safety? Is it providing you with security? Is it providing you with a energy of, like a false energy that you've finally gotten it right? Now, if you're looking for the answer with a math question, that's one thing. But if you're looking for the answer of your life, you are definitely coming to a dead end. You are shutting down what else might be possible. Now that can really kind of mess us up because we're looking for what else is possible. And I think that there is a natural programming of the brain that we are looking to find something. And when we're looking for what can make something better, when we come to that, then we stop. Because we have concluded that we need to find the answer. And when we're in finding the answer, we actually shut out various possibilities that could come. So if something changes and you've decided you've gotten the right answer, you actually turn off the valve. You turn off the valve of possibilities that can flow to you. I mean, how many times have we gotten to a space and we went, oh, thank God, I finally figured it out. I finally know where it is. And, you know, I've got something personally going on right now where that's kind of kicking my butt. And I'm really, really having to expand my allowance of everything that's occurring and stepping in and asking a hell of a lot more questions. So in the chat room, Faith says, having the answer equals being smart. Ergo, LOL, coming to the right conclusion is highly valued, and I can make the mistake of getting my value there. Cool. Great awareness. That's awesome. Rhonda says, when you conclude, you are ending the possibilities for additional awareness. Exactly. So she also says, growing up, it was always about being right and best, so it was always a competition for solving for the answers. Exactly. I can remember my son was in a split class. I don't know if you do that or have done that when you were growing up, where they have, you know, 3/4 of the class is like one age and then about a third is another age or another year in the school. So he was in a 5-6 split, and the teacher really wanted to motivate the kids. So he would actually created this competition, and my son loves the competition. And so he would jump into that, and the teacher would give the 5s and the 6s the same challenge, and he would repeatedly beat the kids in grade 6 because he got the right answer, and he got it before anybody else did. Well, the kids in grade 6 did not like him. So not really a great creation on his part for making friends in the older grade. But how much have we overvalued finding the right answer? Have we rewarded getting the right answer that we miss all of the other possibilities, all of the other creations that are desiring to come in? Then Faith says, and solving when the quickest too, Rhonda. I see that online all the time. Who can be first with answers? No concern for expanding possibilities, just an ego boost to be first to be able to say it's first. Exactly. So how many people are actually just puking up an answer so that they can get the acknowledgement that they are present? But are they really present? Right? How many people are tapped in and into all the social media on a continuous basis, kind of feeding that need to be able to provide the right answer, the fast answer? It's nearly incestuous. You know, I teach social media. I love going on social media, but I'm not in there all the time. But what's surprising me is how often I do go in, that I see the same people that are in there continuously, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy how much time. Now, I don't know if they're not working and if this is maybe their full-time job to be in social media, and perhaps it is, but it's intriguing to me to see how many people are really so pleased when they can jump in and get the right answer or provide the right answer to someone else and boast about how they finally found the right answer. So we're going to go to our first break, and when we get back, we're going to dive a little bit more into this. I think we might actually have somebody that's going to be joining us on the line, and we're going to be talking about the solution as well. What's the solution all about? And I am going to share a story with you that I'm in the midst of right now and see what this show can contribute to that, because I'm willing to be that vulnerable and I'm ready to receive something new. So if you would like to stay tuned, we'll be back right after this short commercial break. You are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Well, thank you so much for sticking around. Tonight we are talking about the answer, the conclusion, the solution. So what's going on in your life where you feel like those things actually have you stuck and you're not able to move beyond what's already there, like you're just regurgitating the same thing over and over again. And the minute that you make that decision that that's the right thing, that's the right answer, everything goes clunk in your world. Have you ever had that occur? So we have somebody who's going to come play with me tonight. Are you there, girlfriend?
Hello.
Who's that on the line? Your voice.
It's the know-it-all with all the answers. Rhonda. And I know everything. And I'm the solution. And I'm the.
Well, how to do it?
I know nothing about this. I can't believe I'm stepping into this space. Like what?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's, isn't it? You and I play together a lot. We create together a lot. We challenge the heck out of each other when we go into these spaces. And isn't it interesting how this particular ass kicking shows up again and again?
Yes.
The answer, the conclusion, the solution. So how, Rhonda, what would you say the percentages of most people of they're just out there searching for this? Just searching
for the answer?
Yeah, I just want the answer.
The majority, the mass majority, like probably above 95%, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and how many of the 95% do you think are happy?
Oh, none. And then those of us who still, right? And then those of us who still are very conscious of this, and we even get stuck, right? We still find ourselves in those traps. And then, right, we're not happy. So, let's just call it 100%. Right? Yeah, we know better, and we still do it. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's just a really deeply ingrained and entrained concept. It's what society and this reality does. And it's a model that, it takes consistent, persistent, if you will, work, if you will, to be conscious of trying to change it.
You have to be so tenacious with staying present, with where you are functioning from, that it can be exhausting. There are days when I'm like, okay, seriously, I quit. Like, I just want to stop. I can remember, probably a good 10 years ago, but maybe even less, feeling like, would somebody just tell me what to do? Would somebody just find the answer, please? Because I'm exhausted. So I wonder how many people are really exhausted from the grind of trying to figure it out.
Exactly. And that's a great point. That's what I was really going to say next, is that there is a distinct difference in the energy that working from answer, conclusion, solution versus lightness, following energy, getting an awareness. It's a much more buoyant, effervescent space. And so, when you're doing answer, conclusion, solution, it's very dense, it's very heavy, it's very hard on your body. It's brain power, which is exhausting. And for myself, I really have gotten a lot quicker that when I'm in conclusion or I'm in, trying to solve for the answer, I can feel it, and it's almost painful. And it's like, okay, wait, that's actually not a question. And that's what I say to myself. Oh, that's not a question.
Yeah.
Where I'm looking for the awareness versus an answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, and it's, I just got this, like, if you and I want to operate from the possibilities, and we have, let's just say, family members. I mean, I'm not picking on them. It's easy to kind of point to that. And let's say our family members care about us, and they're like, well, are you sure? Like, you sure that's the right thing for you? Does that really make sense? And, all of that energy. And what's underneath that, like, what's really underneath that is fear.
Yeah. So
how much is fear actually driving the answer, the conclusion, the solution?
Oh, absolutely. Completely.
And we know, 100%. And we know, and it's also, you know what I also get? It's just damn ass laziness too.
Say more about that. What's lazy?
It's like people are just friggin' lazy. They just go, oh well, that's probably it. And they don't actually want to dive deep. They want to surface. Okay. A lot of people want to surf through life just kind of on the top, and they just want it to be easy breezy, and they don't want to dive deep.
Yeah, true. Yeah, which leads to, my point is it takes an extreme amount of aggressive presence to be, presence in your life, presence with every moment, presence with choice, presence with possibilities, presence, and then trust. Trusting yourself so implicitly that you know that you're an infinite being with power and potency and authority, that you can create anything you desire. And the majority of the planet, I love these, we're talking a majority and minority here, the majority of the planet doesn't function that way, right? So if it's fear-driven, fear-based underneath the surface, it's like, and I've functioned in both spaces, and let me tell you, functioning from presence and trust of myself and choosing from awareness not to solve for the answer is a whole lot easier, a whole lot more fun, and creates a lot greater. Yeah,
well, okay, my God, there's so much coming in right now. Sometimes I need somebody to bounce with. So, like today, Ron and I were on the network all day, and so it's a live day. And I came in just to play and just to touch base with the hosts and so on. And we had a lot of things kind of go sideways, and nothing really super bad because we're brilliant. But we have things go sideways. Hello, that is the answer. We are brilliant.
That's just fact.
That's just fact. That's not fear. We're not fearful of that. It's true. But we have things go sideways, and instead of going into, when those things were happening, instead of literally going into concluding, well, this is screwed up, well, we can't do this, well, that's broken now, well, that, you know what, we just got to can this show, or whatever, We didn't go there. Now, that's
Right.
not to say, guys, that we didn't get frustrated at points. And it's not to say that we wouldn't like to create it differently. However, when you stay in that energy of possibility, of what else, and the energy of the question, then you can move through the situations. You can move through the challenges where a new possibility can come forth to change something.
Exactly.
But an answer, a conclusion, and a solution can't change anything. It only stops everything dead.
Exactly. And I guess if you're down for just getting the answer and being done and okay, cool, if that, blows your dress up, cool. But for people like you and me and many of our friends and peers, we are relentless in like, okay, what else? What else? What else can I play with? What else can I choose? What else can I create? Who else can I meet? What else can I build? That type thing. So it's a different type of functionality. And then those creations and everything we ask just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. And it's just more fun, in my opinion. That's just my interesting point of view.
Well, initially, I think it can be pretty scary. And,
sure.
And if you stick with it, it definitely can be fun. So I'm gonna play a little reveal here right now. You know all about this, but I'm going to play a little reveal.
Reveal it, baby.
Time to get naked, bitches.
Take it off.
Okay, so if you've been following me at all on social media or through the radio for the last couple of years, you'll know that about 2 years ago I started to get pretty frustrated at where I was living. And I started to go start looking at what else was possible, started looking for a new home. And you, Rhonda Burns, brilliant woman that you are, you literally said to me, get in the car and drive. And so I did. And
I think it was a rainy day that day that you went to drive, too.
It was a rainy day. It was miserable. It was one of those fall days where you're like, why the hell would I be out here? And but I was like, okay, I'll go driving for an hour or so. And so I did. As I drove around, I saw lots of different places, and they were like huge houses. It wasn't something that I was going to step into, but they were lovely to look at. One thing led to another, and I found a beautiful place that I was really interested in. And within 3 days, it was mine. I arranged to see it immediately. I put the offer in immediately, and I was the energy of, I'm having this. and I got it. And it was so exciting, and my world expanded, and it's been a huge contribution and something that I've been enjoying profusely. And what was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago maybe? My landlord, so I'm leasing this, my landlord contacted me and she said they're selling the house. And I'm like, what? I went into like, are you friggin' kidding me? And I'm forgetting while we're doing this show that in those moments when I walked into this home and in the moments when I moved in and I set everything up and it was just expanding my world, I just got, Rhonda, that I made this the answer.
Ah, nice awareness. Nice. So you concluded that was your joint for however long.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. So everything that is, how about we just destroy it and create it all? Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
No more.
Right. And I mean,
done deal.
Just being willing to look at that and just being willing to say, wow, that's really cool. There it is. But whenever we actually come to an answer, then things change, and they do. Everything does. When they change, if you've concluded that was the right answer, it knocks you over like a ton of bricks. And you can go into a big, huge beyond, which I did.
Uh-huh.
So I'm as cute as the day is long, aren't I?
Well, aren't we all? And the thing what might be fun to talk about after this next break is where I see the most in terms of conclusion and answer and solution is relationships. When people find the one, right? Or this guy, he's it, or she's all that. right, which is nothing but judgment and conclusion and answer. And we wonder why relationships wind up the way they do.
Well, I think that's awesome. And you know what? We are going to take our next break. Rhonda, if you would stick around, I would love for you to. And anyone in the chat room or anyone listening online, we'd love to hear what's going on with you. And certainly join us in the chat room or give us a call. Let's keep this party going because I'm ready to seriously blow this shit off. I don't know about anybody else. But you know what? I'm ready to have a hell of a lot more fun and a hell of a lot less stopping. So you are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. Tonight we are talking about the answer, the conclusion, the solution. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We are talking about the answer, the conclusion, the solution. There is a lot of things popping in my head about this. It's quite interesting. And I've got Rhonda Burns on the line. We are talking about this together, loving it. Before we jump in, Rhonda, what's going on in your world?
What's going on in my world? Just like it feels like a complete reboot in terms of my business. I'm a coach and a facilitator, and I have a radio show here on the network that's currently on hiatus, but all my archives are there. I'm playing with you in our Advanced Pleasuring Money, and I think you and I are going to be cooking up a whole new bag of wow based on a conversation we had today. So you have to stay tuned and check in with Christine later on that. But I am actually stepping into more of what I'm here to play with and how I'm here to play with it. So stay tuned is really the best thing I can provide right now. And if people want to know me or reach out, I'm all over social media, and my website is rhonda-burns.com. Yeah, I do get around, baby, and I'm good at it.
So, Rhonda, can we dive into the topic about your radio show?
Okay, sure. Hey, this is okay. Here's a sidewinder. Okay, yes, ma'am, sure. Ambush. I sense an ambush. No, go ahead. Yes, I'm good.
So, Rhonda, you've been in your own business for a number of years. You're a coach. You facilitate people, and you're friggin' awesome at it, like friggin' awesome. You started on the network with me, 2 years ago?
Yes.
Is it longer than, I don't know, 2 years ago or so?
It's about 2,
and, Right, and you started with a radio show that was popping for you. And maybe a year later, it changed.
Yeah.
Right? And you changed the title of it, and it was kind of the energy of it. The essence of you and what you do didn't change, but the energy really started to change for you around the show and how you step in. And you changed the title. You changed all of it. And you went along with that for probably another year, and then it's been asking for something different again. Now, how was that for you? Because this society, and Faith's talking about it right in the chat room right now, about how, quote-unquote, experts tell us to find, like, the right answer or to find a solution. So how was that for you when the energy was changing and you didn't have the, quote-unquote, solution or the answer, as this reality says, would make you successful?
It was interesting, and that's a great point. You look at big successful companies or big successful brands, they find something, they land there, and they stick to it, right? I mean, I can think, Google for one, or Facebook, right? Like, they find it, and they stay there. And I was looking at this like, I went into wrongness. I'm like, why can't I just find my thing and stick to it? And I stopped doing that for a little bit. And what I really got to is, I'm always changing. Like, I'm one of the few I'm one of many people that when something is ready to change, I will change it. And that starts with me. So while I am the voice of my radio show, and what I bring forward is always the same. It's energy, it's vitality, it's question and curiosity and information and inspiration, etc. I was really trying to match the energy of how it wanted to be in the world. And so I loved Potency as my game. It totally is my game, but it felt like I was growing beyond that. So then I did Rock the Motherlode, and it was okay, but it wasn't like, I was like, it's something bigger than that. So, people can judge. They can think what they want. It's funny that the people that find my show are the ones that need to or desire to have it, and they send me notes of gratitude. So to answer your question, it's exactly what I require to change it if it needs to be changed. And I'm also currently asking that the next incarnation of it is the thing that's going to be around for a while, that's going to grow with me, that's going to create the greatest, be the greatest invitation. Cool. So does that answer the question? That kind of went round the outside.
No, it did. No, it did. I like how you kind of explained that so people understand the process. Now let's talk about the risk, the cost, as it were, when we are not willing to move with the change that's being asked of us. So the first thing that popped in, and you were talking about before we went to break, is the relationship. If a relationship is asking to change, and it doesn't mean that it's ending, but if a relationship is asking to change the dynamics, and we're not willing to be with the change, we're not willing to ask some questions about it, what is actually the cost that people can incur? Now, I know for me, personally, I went into severe depression because there was something about me that was desiring much greater in relationship than those relationships currently had. And I was literally dying, inside of me.
Oh, absolutely. Death, disease, depression, sickness, weight gain, right? Like hair falling out. Like I've seen a little bit of everything. Oh, yeah. And people think, right? Like think, I'm going to change my shampoo because my hair is falling out. Well, probably not the shampoo, right? But people, right? Conclusion that so it's just so, and if folks were to just start to ask some questions, right? Like what's really going on here? Like what is this? And be very honest with themselves. It's amazing what's hiding under the surface for most people. Yeah.
Right. And how afraid are we of actually digging into what's really going on, because we're afraid that we have to start hunting for a new answer.
Right. Yep.
And there's such a huge risk at not being willing to follow what is asking to be created. Like, I've had the exact same radio show title, like the title of my show, since I started in when did I start this? In 2011, I started radio. So I've had the exact same title, but the energy, the direction of the show, the titles of the shows, the areas that I'm willing to dive into, they've changed massively.
Yeah.
I did a show with somebody else for a year. I stopped doing that, right? So it's like, it doesn't necessarily mean the title of something has to change. So if you have a business, it doesn't mean necessarily that has to change. It doesn't mean that you have to change your lover. But you've got to be willing to look at what's actually not working and to see the cost, the true cost. You know, I have people, I don't know about you, but when people want to coach with me, and, you know, one of people's great ways that they abuse themselves is to say they can't afford something, right? They want to reach for it, and then they want to abuse themselves if they can't afford it. Okay. Right. But I oftentimes will have people say to me, you know, I'd like to coach with you. How much is it? So I tell them the cost, and they're like, oh, yeah, I don't really think I can afford it. And I really don't have a point of view, because I know the people that are ready to step up, they will find the money whatever it takes. But I say to them, I've got a question for you that I'd like you to ponder. What is it going to cost you if you don't step into this?
Right.
What is it going to cost everyone if we're not willing to move beyond the conclusion that it kept us locked down for this lifetime?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The energy on that is like, whoa. My body is just like so happy right now. She's jumping up and down, seriously, so happy that we're looking at this. It's like, thank God we're unlocking this.
Right. Well, I have a perfect example of this. So I'm working, I'm a coach, and any coach who's worth his salt, you know, works with other coaches, right? We get coached as well. Mm-hmm. There's always growth. There's always possibilities and room for improvement. So I'm working with a coach myself, and this program that I chose, it's a big freaking price tag. Like, it's a big chunk of change. And, like, all of this stuff came up when I knew it was a yes. The lightness of what it was going to create was a yes. And I also, like, was buying into some conclusions. So at the event where we were talking about this, I actually stopped myself. I removed myself from the room. You know, I kind of cleared the influences around me, and I asked, okay, if I choose this, what's my life going to be like in, 5 years? If I don't choose this, what's my business going to be like? What's my body going to be like? Is this going to help me, make more money? Like, I went through this barrage of questions, and every awareness I got was light, right? So I called myself on the fact that I was actually going into some conclusion that she had the answers. She knew what was best. She's the successful one, but I caught myself, And even though I don't really know how it's going to come to be, there's lightness when I trust my awareness. I have checked in. I continue to check in. So I don't have it all figured out.
I love that. I love that you did that. Faith in the chat room was saying, hey, I got to find it. She says, so the experts tell me to find a problem and to offer a solution, but I have something to offer that feels much more expansive than a solution to a problem. So perhaps I could ask some questions around that instead of concluding that they know what's best for me. Absolutely. Always follow your knowing, as I said, but how many of us are looking to the experts and concluding that they've got all their shit together, they know what they're talking about, they're successful, and we are not. And I don't know why this came up in my awareness today, but I was thinking about that, and I'm pretty out there. I am pretty vulnerable. I'm willing to kind of tell most of what's going on in my world, and I can see when people go into a bit of shock about it because they've concluded that my life is all roses and a bag of whatever, right? Bonbons.
Right, bag of bonbons.
Yeah, exactly.
And pie.
Pie. There's a lot of pie up in my world. but I looked at that and I went, oh gosh, where do I do that, right? Where I've looked at people that are experts that kind of play the part, or they have, Faith always says end tarts. Yes, Faith, I'm gonna make
yes.
music and chart space just for you. But I look at the experts too, and I give them more credence than maybe I should. I'm not saying that there aren't amazing people out there that are absolutely phenomenal at what they're doing, but you know what? They still have crap going on as well, and their lives could be coloring what they're actually saying to us, or what they're choosing in their life may not match what's true for us. So it's so important that we don't conclude that the experts have the answer for us.
Right.
So
amen.
Everything that is.
Yeah.
Everything that's bringing up, let's let that shit go. And really, you know, it comes down to, just like you said, what you did is really asking the questions. It's truthfully asking the questions. Now, some of the questions, and I've got to figure out a title for these 5 questions, because these kind of are my go-to questions, especially when I'm really stuck or somebody else is really stuck. So the first question is, are you an infinite being? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does the universe have your back? Yes. Do you have your back? Yes. Can anything ever truly destroy you? No. You might be killed in your body, but nothing can ever truly destroy you because you are an infinite being.
Right.
And can you always make another choice? And the answer is yes. So where in our lives are we not willing to use those questions to be in our knowing and then to step in to ask some questions, as opposed to coming to conclusions, to coming to answers, and to finding the solution? Now, there could be multiple solutions. There could be multiple answers to choose from. But when you're looking for the one, you immediately lock down and shut the doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. When those are everything that is. Those are awesome questions, and the energy of those are pivot questions. So if somebody's stuck or they're looking in a direction for the solution, what those questions do is pivot people. They have them look from a different angle or turn a different direction, so I love those. Those are fantastic, and I've heard you use them before, for sure.
Yeah, I have too, and I'm gonna come up with a title of them, and I'm gonna bookmark them. So
cool.
If anybody's listening, don't even bother. They're mine.
She just put her stamp on them.
I just said, get the hell back. Okay, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, we are going to conclude this radio show. Stay tuned, everybody. You're listening to Inspired Choices here on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Wow, this show went a lot faster than anticipated. So grateful you came to play with me, Rhonda. It's awesome. If there is a topic that's popping in your reality, that's something that you would love for me to be talking about, or a guest that you would love to hear on the station, please get in contact with me. Love to hear from the listeners and what's really popping in their world. Because these shows are really being created for all of the listeners, not just me. And so I love hearing from everyone. So you can email me at Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. You can check me out, inspiredchoices.ca, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, I'm there. So love to hear from you. Coming up next week, which you might find interesting, the show is Are You Married to Being a Hot Mess? How many of us are actually enjoying being a hot mess or find ourselves in a hot mess? That should be a fun show to be doing. As well, I just want to remind you, coming up June the 16th, I'm going to have Access Bar's class coming up. Would love to have you join in. And foundation class, the next foundation class is June the 22nd to the 25th. If you're really ready to change what's going on in your reality, if you're ready to bring out the joy and let the stress go, that is one of the most dynamic classes that can do that. So your last thoughts on this topic, Rhonda, what's popping in your awareness?
What's popping in my awareness? I would just invite people to really, if you would like your life to be greater, easier, perhaps more fun and enjoyable, just start to notice how you respond to things that you see or read or hear or people that you interact with, and just catch yourself. And just you can ask in your head, cool, truth, am I concluding anything here? Have I made a decision? Or what could I be aware of here? So that's where I start, folks. Just start to notice where you're at and see how it's working for you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So if you are, if you're interested in learning more about what I do as a coach, you can certainly get in touch with me. If you're interested in learning about Rhonda, you can get in touch with her. If you're interested in learning about all of these amazing hosts that are here on the network that are creating shows that really are changing people's lives, we would love for you to connect with us. And we are live 3 days a week, and we have thousands of archives on the network that you can connect with. We're all over iTunes. You can listen to us live on TuneIn. We've got stuff going on all over the world, which is pretty damn cool. It's so much fun to see that happening everywhere. And maybe you know of someone, or maybe you yourself would like to put your voice into the world. We are looking for people who are ready to really be part of the change that's required in this world. It's just not okay anymore for things to be going the way that they're going. And we're really challenging ourselves to step up even more, and we're challenging others. So I'm throwing the gauntlet down, as it were. If you are somebody who has been sitting on your beautiful tata and you are ready to bring your voice to the world to change it, the world will welcome you, as will we. This is some interesting times that we are in, and I know that I came here to be a contribution to changing what's not working, and I do honestly believe that each and every person that is here came here to be a massive contribution to changing what's going on and to create a world where kindness and laughter and joy and health is the norm, not anxiousness, not fear, and certainly not any kind of dis-ease. I know it's possible. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned, and remember, you can always make another choice. See you next week.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.